Hello and welcome everybody to the Liberty Revolution.
Liberty Revolution.
I'm here with State Representative candidate Ethan Jones. He's running for District 116. And today I'm just going to be interviewing him, asking him some background questions to hopefully give you guys, the voters, more of an educated uh, background on who he is. Allow you to make more of an educated decision when you go to the polls.
Yes, by the end of this show, all of you will be voting for me.
Well, I mean that's the idea, at least to show, what the campaign's all about, and what I really want to ask is like, what inspired you to initially like run for office? What made you really want to run?
I mean, honestly, man, I was just kind of, I like to do my research, on local politics, and I was sitting at home, and I was like researching, recent bills in the House, and I noticed our current state representative, Dale Wright, he was trying to pass House Bill 1809. So 1809, it establishes the authority for police to search your personal property for municipal violations, like municipal ordinance violations, like petty violations.
So
And
local police, like they'd be
yeah,
able,
yeah,
like
local police, like
state police.
if your grass is too tall, your dog's barking, they can get a warrant and search your house, and you know, uh, what happened to property rights,
Yeah,
like
'cause
so it's like that's a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. So then I get to looking up this dude, and I'm like, man, this guy's been in office 6 years, and nobody runs against him, and he's really passed no legislation besides a bill that benefited him. It hired prescription costs, and he owns a prescription company, it looks like, or he has some kind of ties with the medical industry. So I'm like, okay, so this is one of those guys that passes bills for himself. So I'm a firm believer that in doing what's right, and if nobody's gonna run against this guy, then I figure I'll just do it myself, because like at the end of the day, man, I got 4 kids, and my 4 kids are the main reason I'm doing this. And at some point in my life, I have to, in the future, however America is, if it's good, bad, whatever, I have to be able to say, like, I did something to try to better this country for the future generations. And I feel like that's a problem with America today, man. Is you got, like our ancestors, they thought about us, they thought about you, they thought about me, they thought about everybody watching, and they made policies that affect us today, and they laid the groundwork for us. But today we think about ourselves, and we got politicians that think about themselves. They're not thinking about the future. I'm trying to think about the future of my kids here, and by passing little petty bills like that tear people's rights away, like we've been doing for years and years, we're getting away from the Constitution, the foundations of liberty in this country. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, now, that's a long answer to your question, but I mean, you asked, so.
Well, no, I appreciate it, man, and well, and like, if you were elected, what kind of changes would you want to make, versus what you're seeing being done with the current state
Well, I
rep?
mean, first and foremost, we're going to protect constitutional rights. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And so we're going to protect those. We're going to protect property rights, Fourth Amendment rights. Right to life and the pursuit of happiness. Now, I have some pretty good ideas that I've actually been working on legislation, uh, getting ready for when I do win, because I got some bills I want to pass. And
Actually, that was one of my questions I was wanting to not to interrupt, but that was something I was wanting to ask you is like what kind of proposed legislation you were considering.
well, I have quite a bit, and so first and foremost, I want to get we have a homeless crisis in the Farmington area, Fredericktown area. This whole district has, the past 2 years, there's been a homeless crisis, and politicians in this area, they failed to address this crisis that's going on. You know, any night you can drive through Maple Valley by Walmart, and there's people sleeping in the parking lot. I mean, it's bad, man. The homeless crisis is bad right now, and there is solutions. It's a long term thing, but I've got to knowing these people over the past year. You know, I've introduced myself to them. I sat down and talked to them. I've tried to help some of them out. And one thing I found is that a lot of these people that are homeless in this area, they can't find housing. Okay, and one of the reasons they can't find housing is because anytime they try to get housing, the very first question that's asked by any landlord around here is, "Are you a felon?" Because they won't rent to felons. You know, there's so many people lined up to get housing at the moment. Just felons don't have that option. Well, a lot of these homeless people, they got felony records.
When you think if you get rid of the felony requirement for housing,
Yeah.
the housing market would improve.
So,
Because,
and that's the thing here, man. So under the Fair Housing Act that the Feds passed, um, let's put it this way: I can't, if I'm a landlord, I can't tell you no, I won't rent to you because you're an illegal immigrant, because that's protected. However, I can tell you no, I won't rent to you because you're a felon. So what we're doing here is we're telling our own people, like, that are American citizens, no, we're not going to rent to you, but this guy who, is just as much of a criminal, who actually hasn't done time for his crime yet, because the term illegal immigration.
I mean, just the very act of being here
Right.
is
Illegally,
illegal.
yeah. And we're telling that guy, like, oh yeah, you can have a place to live, but you are American citizen. You cannot, even though you've redeemed yourself, you've been judged by a jury, you've gone to prison, you're out here, and then they wonder why the prison system is so full of people. So yeah, I plan on passing legislation that will protect felons when it comes to housing, and so they can't be as discriminated against. And I also got some ideas for legislation. I call it the Second Chances Act, where certain felonies that were non-aggressive or non-violent, non-sexual, we would after they do their prison times, those could be expunged. So
Nice.
yeah, the details of that we're gonna hash out. I'm still working on that.
Like a true second chance.
Yeah, true second chance. I think second chances are important, and I mean, as somebody I consider myself a Christian, and I mean, if somebody wants a second chance, they deserve the right to have a second chance. Who are we to shun them as a society just because they once did something wrong? We shouldn't. What you did in your past shouldn't follow you for the rest of your future.
Now, like with that said, there are certain heinous crimes or crimes of moral turpitude, I guess we'll call them,
Mm-hmm.
where some man, like personally, like some crimes I see and or that are going on in the community. Like just a few weeks ago, David Blankenship, like he was arrested, uh, and charged. That we're not gonna like that's I'm not gonna go too much into that because the man hasn't been tried, but some of the heinous crimes that have been going on.
Yeah, and when it comes to crimes of moral aptitude, uh, once we get this legislation done, those would not be waivable offenses. You can't get those expunged. Because, if you're violent, you're a sexual predator, or you've done something, that's, not moralistic with society, people need to know about that. They didn't know that your history, and employers deserve to know that. So, no, I'm more focused here on like drug crimes, financial crimes. I'd also, I'm not a fan of locking people up for failure to pay taxes. To me, if you're in prison because you're a tax evader, you're a hero. You're an American patriot, man. So
I mean, that's the most. I mean,
yeah.
Our founding fathers literally fought over 2%.
Right.
And here we are. We're at like 48%.
Yeah, and that's way beyond my level. I'm not president, but if I was, I would pardon everybody that's in prison for evading taxes. I'm just saying.
Because taxes are important, for certain aspects.
Yeah.
But like the way that we're being taxed, is it's basically extortion.
But man, if you don't want to pay a tax for something you don't agree with, why pay it? If you morally don't agree with something, and you don't want your money to go to it, then
why should you?
Yeah, why should you? I mean, that's a whole nother thing, And then, I got other legislation. So I've already wrote some legislation, sent it to some other state representatives and a senator. And it's the State Employee Fair Treatment Act and due process. So basically, this legislation, it gives employees it protects their their due process, because right now they're not getting a fair due process. State employees aren't, and it also would get rid of right to work for state employees, public service. Anybody that's public service, it'd get rid of right to work. Well, not right to work. What do you call that? At will.
At will
At will
employment.
employment. At will employment.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So, basically, before you could be fired for a lame accusation or something, the state would have to show that their employee, they would have the right to see a panel, and they could grieve, what they're being charged with, and they would have to be ensured their due process. But right now, there's certain things that the state is doing to their employees that aren't constitutional, such as, I worked in the Department of Corrections for 10 years, so I know this. When an employee is accused of doing something wrong, there's an internal investigation. Well, with internal investigation, those cannot be held against you criminally. Your statements can't, because a state employee is forced to answer those questions, or they could lose their job or be punished. So since they're forced to that, then they have to be read something called Garrity rights. Well, Garrity rights, I believe that came around like 1967. I think it was Garrity versus New Jersey. Garrity rights protects any public service employees' constitutional rights. It protects their Fifth Amendment, right? So it's basically what it does is when your Garrity rights are read to you, you have the option to waive your Fifth Amendment or not. Well, if nobody reads you your Garrity rights, then basically anything you say cannot be held against you for a criminal proceeding. We got a situation going on right now where there's 4 corrections officers in Missouri that were charged with the crime of murder. In my opinion, they were just doing their job and following policy, but the state didn't back them, and the prosecuting attorney had used some statements against them, and they were never read, Garrity rights during the investigation. They weren't informed of their own constitutional rights. They weren't informed, their due process was walked over. The state employees aren't getting due process. So we need to protect their jobs. They shouldn't just be thrown away just because somebody's mad at them. We need to protect their constitutional rights. And also in this bill, we would require training in their due process and their constitutional rights, and let them know what their rights are, because they don't know what their rights are. They're unaware of that.
Because they haven't been read them.
Yeah, they haven't been read those. They haven't been taught those. They get taught what everybody else's rights are, but not theirs.
Goodness, so it sounds like they're just pawns of the state at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't feel like the state cares about their employees at all.
Oh no. Why would they? They're just another number.
Even your local police departments, your sheriff's departments, they don't care about their employees. They use them as pawns. And at the end of the day, whether you're a cop, a jailer, you work in a prison, you are at the bottom of the totem pole, and there's some politician up here making some kind of decisions that affect you, and at any moment you can be used because it's election year for somebody else's political gain.
And that's messed up.
Yeah, it's not right, So that's one thing we're gonna work on there. I also, outside that, we're talking about legislation, man. I've had this idea for years, and one of the things I would like to do is I would like to pass legislation to create offender work programs that would provide true rehabilitation and give these inmates that are locked up in Missouri DOC a chance to give back to the community. They would work to raise funds to raise money for school lunches, public lunches. Because every kid, there's a lot of kids in Missouri that they don't get a hot meal at home. They don't get any kind of nutritional meal at home. And sometimes the only thing they eat at school, or the only thing they eat in the day, is at school. And that could be, just a cold sandwich because they don't have money in their lunch account, And
shoot, when I was in high school, it was literally 2 pieces of bread and cheese.
Right. And, if these offenders can work and they can raise funds for true restorative justice and give that money to the schools to pay for lunches for kids, so every kid in Missouri can have a hot lunch, and not just a hot lunch, but we're also going to focus on what these kids are eating. This processed bullcrap that they feed these kids today that just come in a frozen bag. Dude, when our parents were kids, they ate like pot roast and baked bread and
Shoot, I grew up
homemade
eating
apple
rabbit.
butter and stuff, man. And these kids, we're feeding them cancer. That's what we're feeding them.
I mean, if
we're
you look
feeding
at a
them diabetes.
nutrition
We're feeding
label,
them,
man,
yeah,
like most of the time, I just won't buy anything anymore if it has more than like
yeah.
one chemical. I can't even fucking
And bro,
fudging read. I get it.
I'm not trying to sound like a liberal here, bro, but I'm gonna be real with you, man. Man, we aren't feeding our kids proper nutritious meals in school, and we're failing them. We're giving them diabetes, we're giving them cancer because we're feeding them crap with plastic in it and all kinds of other shit. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. They deserve a home style cooked meal, man. Give them some meat and potatoes. That's what these kids need, man. But my whole idea, man, is in the prison system. There's a company called MVE, Missouri Vocational Enterprises. And this is going to piss off some rich people, but let's go into it. Missouri Vocational Enterprises, it's not a state organization. It's an independent corporation, and they use Missouri inmates for almost free labor. They give them maybe $1 or $2 a month or so. And they do like laundry for hospitals, they make license plates, stuff like that. The state provides the workers, the state provides the facility, the state provides everything for MVE. MVE makes millions of dollars upon a year, the state makes nothing, right? But now, of course, they're funneling money into politicians' pockets, so that's kind of how that works. But my whole idea is kick MV out. We don't need you. Let Missouri run their own factories within these prisons. And that money that they make, that millions upon millions of dollars that they're making off this industry, what we'll do with that is you're going to pay the inmates a minimum wage instead of $1 an hour, so they have an incentive to work hard. And then all those extras, millions of dollars, we're going to transfer those funds over to the schools, and we're going to give it to the kids. And we're going to change the way the kids eat, and every kid's going to get a good, decent hot meal every day. A home-style meal. Not no bullshit frozen chicken patty. I know they like those, but let's do hand-breaded chicken patties.
Well, and I like that, man. Like I like the idea that you're providing by Missouri having these programs.
Right.
People have more opportunities to rehabilitate. Like they have more of a fighting chance if these inmates are able to make like actual money and earn money. Like maybe they'll have more of a drive to do better.
Look, man, they're learning a skill. They're learning a trade. They're learning the meaning of hard work, and they're giving back to the community after victimizing it. And it's true rehabilitation. But in the same time, we're also bettering the education system. So we're taking care of two systems in Missouri that are really struggling right now, and that's our public education and our prisons. And a bill like that could easily help both. So, but I mean, I've already got it wrote up, and here's another thing, man. I'm one of the, our current state rep. He's maybe sponsored 2 bills. I'm not even in the House. I'm not even a politician, man. I'm just a normal person. I've already wrote 3 or 4 of my own, and I'm trying to get state reps to pass them, and it's not that easy, man. But if the people elect me and they get me in office, day one, I got all the ammunition in my pocket, man. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to go to Jeff City, and I'm going to propose this stuff. And I'm going to encourage bipartisan support to work with other people and to get these done for the kids in Missouri, for true rehabilitation. Help out our local homeless population, man, and get these state workers the protection they deserve. These are things that I truly am passionate about. And that's why these are the things that, I put first on my platform.
Oh, nice, man. I guess that leads me into asking you what are you gonna do in Jefferson City whenever you're there to promote bipartisanship, versus
Right.
versus this civil divide that we've been
Yeah.
dealing with? Like, how? I guess in other words, how are you going to try to bridge the divide that we're feeling right now? Because we're in a divided country, man. Like, it's bad.
Man, it all boils down to your personality for real, man. You got politicians that are extremely biased. They ride their party. They're no, I'm Democrat all the way. I'm Republican all the way. They don't want to hear each other out. Like they really don't. A lot of people on the left they don't want to hear the right. The right don't want to hear the left. And it's like, oh no, somebody on the right proposed this, so I'm not going for it. I mean, I guess what works in my favor is I'm running in the Libertarian Party, and I am a conservative. I'm more conservative than anybody else that's running right now, even in the Republican Party. But I'm what I would call like an independent conservative, right? And I don't like to associate with bureaucrats, and that's why I didn't run as a Republican, because I don't see myself as a part of some kind of system of a bunch of rich political assholes that are about benefiting themselves. But when it comes to the whole unification thing, I think that's legit, and it's all on how you approach people with it. Like I've already been talking to several uh, Democratic politicians, in the St. Louis area about my ideas, and I've talked to several Republican politicians about my ideas. And at the end of the day, you got to point out the things that they support. Like the Second Chances Act that I had talked to you about to help out the felons and the homeless. That appeals that could appeal to the left because one thing I point out to them is, hey, this helps with rehabilitation. We're helping the homeless. It points towards their social issues, but it can also appeal to the right by pointing out how much money this can save us. With the lack of with lowering our rehabilitation, we're saving our economy in Missouri a lot of money. So not only are we going to point out like the economic benefits, but we're going to point out the social benefits. And the left is more focused on social than the right, and the right's more focused on what's best for the economy. One outweighs the other. There's good on both sides, and really, man, it's just how you approach people, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. Um, trying to figure out what my next question for you was. Okay, so in terms of addressing like government overreach, like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really like the government. I know you don't like the government a whole lot.
Not
Like
really, man.
like what are you gonna do to address as a person that's in power? What are you gonna do to address the abuses of power?
Well,
Of the state.
man. You got you got to know the Constitution, man. I love the Constitution. I read it all the time, and not only the American Constitution but the Missouri Constitution. I like both of those. Uh, you got to know it. You got to follow it. And you got to stand up for it. And if something's not constitutional, you got to be open about it, and you got to do everything you can to stop it. Just like we're doing with House Bill 1809. That's the whole reason I'm running right now is to stop something that's not constitutional. It's government overreach at its finest. And so that's something I can do. Like speaking Constitution. I read the Constitution to my kids before bedtime. That's how much I
Really?
love it. Yeah, bro.
I mean, I have a copy in my
Yeah.
car. I keep one I keep one in my house, one in my car.
Yeah.
I got a copy of the Missouri statutes in my car.
Yeah, my favorite book is the Bible. My second is the Constitution, bro. Uh, I believe that is the law of the land. So you need to. We need less laws, less government overreach, and the laws we do have, they should be to protect our rights, to stop the government from overreaching. So and on the top of that, we need accountability. The citizens need to know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on the local level. They don't.
Because they don't participate.
Yeah,
It seems like they don't want to they don't want to do anything.
But it's
man.
also not brought to their attention, man. Nobody's bringing this stuff to their
like
attention.
the county commission meetings,
Yeah.
like they're not very vocal about meeting and or like how they like to turn comments off
Yeah.
during a live stream because they don't agree with what citizens have to say. It's like
Transparency is important, man, and the public needs to know what's going on. And there's several ways we can do that. Social media, these podcasts like we're doing right now. I want to create a tax oversight committee in Missouri, and
Really?
every tax quarter, send everybody a list of what their money is being spent on. This is what your money went to. You
See,
know,
like, and I feel like people would be more willing to pay
yeah,
taxes if they knew where the money that they're paying is
yeah,
going, as
yeah.
opposed to it going into
Or
some
they'd be
general
more willing to
revenue.
speak up about it and get involved. And another thing is, I plan on when I'm in office, I'm going to have monthly town hall meetings every month right here in the area. Uh, they'll be hosting either this county or Madison County. And with these town hall meetings, I'm just gonna let people know, this is what I'm doing for you. Now, what do you guys need? What issues do you need for me to bring up in Jeff City? Because a representative represents,
And
right?
if people aren't participating,
Exactly.
then
It's not about me. As being a representative, it's not about me. It's not about passing laws that benefit my company because I own a pharmaceutical company, and if I hire prescription meds, I'm gonna benefit off it. It's not about uh, I'm on the police board, so I'm gonna pass a law so they can go ahead and search your house because your grass is too tall. That's not what it's about. It's about the people. So you got to find out. You got to talk to the people, engage with them, and figure out what the issues are. And whether it's something you agree with or not, if the people are telling you this is an issue, you got to represent them on that matter, man. That's your job. That's why they elected you, is to represent them. They only got one voice in this district, and that voice is our representative. That voice is going to be me. So yeah, I'm going to host these town halls, and we're going to figure out what the problems are. And if I don't know the answer, we're going to put minds together of people that can help create an answer and create the right legislation we need. So I can go to Jeff City with something strong and present it to the rest of the House and be like, yo, this is the problem. This is our solution. And we want something done.
well, that sounds brilliant, man. Like, drawing in experts. If you don't know something, I mean, if you're willing to ask somebody else about it, I mean, um, yeah, because
Well, it's not even experts necessarily, man. It's okay. If there's an issue with, let's say, local farms, like local farmers are having issues with their crops or something, I'm not the brightest on crops, but it's just pulling local people together in a community so we can just brainstorm ideas.
we're
You
having more
know,
communication within the
yeah,
community. Like I
we're
think.
gonna we're gonna brainstorm together. It's not gonna be, hey, I'm having an issue with this, fix it for me, please, and then I just go and I magically fix it for you. It's gonna be me sitting down with you because you're telling me you're having an issue. And we're gonna figure out the solution together, and then as your representative, I'm gonna go present it. You know,
Oh,
because you want what's
exactly.
best for the people, not what I think. Well, I think this is just going to fix everything, so I'm gonna go present it without the people's input. So by me being a representative, they're actually going to be able to personally take place in what goes on in our government themselves through me.
Well, it sounds like you would answer pretty well to your constituents if you were in
Yes,
office.
sir. I mean, that's the job. That's the job. Unfortunately, people don't do it that are in the position, but that's the job.
Yeah, I mean, like misusing campaign funds or misusing,
Yeah.
taxpayer money. Things like
You got to
that.
have some integrity. That's like one of the guy that's in office now who's running in the primary. I'm not saying he misused campaign funds or not, but what I'm saying is on his uh, campaign report, he spent $10,500 on a golf cart and labeled it as a campaign golf cart. You know, uh,
I mean, I know
I'm
they
sorry, but
do. I know they do say business
yeah,
happens on the golf field, right?
that's what they say. What the hell does this guy need a campaign golf cart for? I mean, come on, man. If he's spending money that recklessly with this campaign money that people are giving him, how is he spending your tax money? You know,
It's like, oh, this is just a revenue I can draw from.
right?
Like,
I haven't had a whole lot of donations. I've been doing a lot of things myself, but the money I'm spending, it's on signs, it's on actual materials, that are campaign related. I'm not going to go buy a damn golf cart with it. I don't need a golf cart for my campaign. I can't think of any reason anybody would need a golf cart for their campaign. It doesn't make
because it
sense to me.
doesn't pertain to advertising, doesn't pertain to
No,
promoting
unless it's
yourself. Like,
he's having an event on the golf course. But if that's the case,
well, maybe a parade,
it's
but
if that's the case, it's an event. You don't need a golf cart for. Come on, man. I hope he sells that golf cart at the end of this election, and he gives the money back. You know,
That would be the
that would be
integral
yeah.
thing to
If it's
do.
for the campaign, right? So hopefully he sells it. And he
When
don't
the
keep.
campaign's, because his term will be up,
Yeah, yeah.
like
That's
that.
what we need to
Even
see.
if he wins, like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, his
He says
term
a
will not.
campaign golf cart, so it should be for the campaign. I mean, I don't think he needs it, but if he really thinks he needs a campaign golf cart, then come November, after he loses to me, I hope he sells the golf cart and gives the money back to the people, or to whatever charity he plans on giving it to. Yeah,
Yeah. That's just insane, man. I mean,
yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, I mean, with the campaign, we're doing good, man, and yeah, I want to put it out there, like, yeah, I'm running as a libertarian.
speaking of, I don't mean to interject
Yeah.
here. In a second, after you finish that thought, can you tell me a little bit about the Libertarian Convention? Your experience with that.
Yeah, we'll get on to that. But I want people to know, like, yeah, I'm running as a libertarian, but I am the most conservative candidate running. Okay, I have some views that
Don't
might
mistake it.
yeah, don't mistake that. I have some views that might appeal to Democrats when it comes to the homeless population or whatever. But I'm socially, I'm as conservative as it gets. And economically, I'm all about the free market. Now, I'm not the best. If you're a Democrat and you're thinking, well, this guy's not a Republican, so I'm gonna vote for him, you're better voting for Dale Wright in November, or whoever the Republican contender is, because they're going to be more Democrat than me. They just are. Now, if you're a Republican voter, you don't have anybody representing you right now that's a true conservative. You don't. Your current guy in an office is not a true conservative. He's a rhino bureaucrat. If you're looking for a true conservative, that's me. I am the conservative on the ticket. Okay, I'm not about party loyalty. So yeah, I'm running on the libertarian ticket, but I'm not my own party. I'm not too happy with it. I selected the party that was the most conservative, that wasn't related to the GOP. That's what I did. I mean, if you would really ask me, my beliefs truly align most with the Constitution Party. You know, uh, the Libertarian Party for me, we went to DC together. We saw it.
Yeah, it was an interesting
Yeah,
experience
man.
to
They
say
got
the
a
least.
right side. They got a left side. I like that right side of the party. I do.
I thought the left side just seemed like a bunch of Democrats, to be
Yeah,
honest.
man. They were gay. They were really gay. I'm just gonna say it. They were woke. I call them woketivist.
Woketivist.
Yeah. They selected a guy that wants to mutilate children. They pretty much stole the left side of the party. Pretty much stole the presidency spot. They were woke activists. They weren't true libertarians, man. And that side of the party is just taken over. You know, and they were encouraging stuff like that one guy. What they call him?
Oh, the fair.
Yeah, Fairy something. I can't remember his name. Uh, I can't remember his name, but he's a prostitute from Los Angeles, and he's walking around this convention with his ass hanging out, wearing fishnets.
It's like, this
and
is
his
not the
balls
time
hanging
and
out.
place.
And you got people bringing kids to these conventions. I get you got the right to dress how you want, but I believe in having a little respect, man. Honestly, man, if you're a man and you're out walking around with your ass hanging out and your balls hanging out, you should go to jail for being a sex offender. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that, man. If your ass is hanging out in front of a little kid and you're wearing
creepy.
fishnets, yeah,
That's creepy. That's
you're
weird.
a sex offender at that point. And that's the kind of crap the party produces. The guy they chose to be president, Chase.
Chase
met.
Oliver.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
met Chase.
gosh. That guy.
We met Chase in St. Charles.
He's a piece of work.
Yeah, he is. He believes in child mutilation, mask mandates. None of that has anything to do with liberty values.
No, nothing. No.
Now, I will say the Libertarian Party, that guy's not a true libertarian. He's just a Democrat. The Libertarian Party is struggling right now, and it's at war with itself. I have purposely, I'll be honest, I've purposely tried to distance myself from the party I'm running for. Because I'm not a party loyalist. I'm not. I think with common sense. I'm a constitutional conservative. The Constitution is bylaws, is the supreme law, is my platform, and I'm a conservative. And just because my party says, we're gonna do this, we're do that, that doesn't mean I'm gonna agree with it. And I don't feel like the Libertarian Party truly represents my beliefs and ideals right now. You know, I think I've given the people a pretty good, most of the people I've talked to during this election, I've given them a pretty good idea of who I really am. So yeah, I'm Libertarian Party. I hope it gets better. We're trying to do that on a local level. You're the secretary of the St. Francis County Libertarian Party. I'm the chairman. We're trying our best to make our impact with that party and build it up. I was really disappointed in D.C. when they invited Trump and Vivek up there, and I was disappointed that they weren't really listening to Vivek.
Well, they didn't give either of them like the respect to just let them talk and hear them out.
No, they
that's
literally
what's disappointing.
Invite Trump to their event to hear him speak, and all they do is boo him. Like, come on, man.
Why would you invite someone just to boo them?
Right. You don't invite somebody just to boo them. That's childish. That's Democrat behavior there. That's
and that's what made us split too. Is that we I don't want to be associated with that, so I'd rather be associated with the right side.
But I got to give it to Trump and Vivek. They were correct. They were both very smart men, and they were correct when they said like, what does the party want to do? Do they want to strive for 3%? That's not happening this year. This year they'll be lucky to get 0.5%.
Or do you want to win?
Do you want to influence the next administration? And look, dude, Trump's gonna win the next election, man. And we want to influence that. Of course we do. And Vivek made a good point. He said, look, man, we need a Libertarian Nationalist Alliance in America right now. And I gotta agree with the guy, man. He's a smart man.
We need a renewed sense of national pride at least, because we're all American.
Yeah.
That's the main thing about I think that's the main ideology behind nationalism is we're all American. We need to put America first, and put our priorities first, as opposed to like what some of these other states are doing with supporting these illegal immigrants.
Yeah,
giving them money, housing. Like give them anything. Like place to stay. Like,
so look, man, I believe in helping people that really need to be helped. Okay, but these illegal immigrants, they're not here legally. And they need to be documented. And that's Missouri is not on the border, but it does affect us. And so yeah, with Missouri, honestly, what we should do is I think we need to take away their opportunity in Missouri. Move on somewhere else. Move on somewhere else, man, or go back and do it the right way. That's the way I see it. These employers that hire illegal immigrants, they should, in my opinion, if you hire an illegal immigrant, you should lose your business license in Missouri for life.
Oh,
that's my personal belief. You shouldn't be able to do business if you're not going to do it the right way. If you're not going to hire, Missouri citizens, and you're going to hire some dude from Mexico, you shouldn't be allowed to do business in Missouri.
No, exactly. Because
you're not about benefiting this state. As far as the whole deportation thing, deport them. I'm good with it. Deport them. Don't
what else
bother
do
me.
You do? Do you want to bring them into the, to the legal system whenever they're not even?
I'm all for
documented?
Securing the border. I do believe we need a better path to citizenship. I don't think the current path to citizenship is correct. Your ancestors are immigrants. My ancestors are immigrants. I'll admit that. At the time, there was probably less restrictions on coming over here, and there was probably a better path. So, yeah, I think we need a better path to citizenship, but we also need to really secure our border, because you've got terrorists walking over our border right now.
Literal terrorists.
You got
like there have been documented cases. Like, we know this guy's a suspected terrorist.
Dude, you got the
He's
Chinese
walking on over the border.
Chinese Communist Party walking over and they're running police stations right here in America.
Yeah, and
You
these
know?
are military-aged men too,
Hmm.
mind you. I don't know, like that's a little conspiratorial,
You got to
but
know who's coming into your country, man.
like why would they have such an influx, like such a large
Yeah.
influx of military-aged men?
Hmm.
And it seemingly like it's weird that the demographics are all shifted towards just that demographic,
Yeah.
like military-aged men. They're coming into the country at alarming pace. Wouldn't that be an invasion? Like,
I would say so. And you were talking about foreign affairs and stuff. I don't consider myself really an isolationist. I think at the end of the day, it's a cool idea, but I don't think it's a realistic idea in this modern world. However, I do believe in the whole American First movement, and I think we need to quit spending so much damn money on these foreign wars. Why are we getting involved with this Ukraine crap, this Israel crap? And speaking of Israel, I'm gonna put out there, I'm not pro Hamas. I'm not pro Israel. Neither the Jews or the Muslims believe in Christ. The only thing they need from America is a Bible. They don't need bullets. Okay? And there's not a national Republican or Democrat out there that's gonna say that. They don't. But we're wasting all this money on these bullcrap foreign wars. Sending out every week. It's like Biden's like, oh, I'm sending out 80 billion this week. I'm sending out 90 billion this
how
week
much of
to
it?
Zelensky.
Like 10 billion or $10 trillion
Yeah,
in the past
and
5 years.
and even in D.C. when we questioned Trump on hey with the Israel and Hamas war, are you going to keep sending? He avoided that answer.
He
You know,
kind of pity patted around it a little
yeah,
bit.
and I like Trump, but here's the thing. You're not going to find many Republicans that are willingly like, oh yeah, we're not going to support Israel. You know, here's, am I going to sit here and be like, hey, Israel needs to back off Hamas? No, no, man, they were attacked. I don't blame them. And am I going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm pro Hamas? No, I don't care. I don't
We
care
shouldn't
about
be
what's going on.
involved.
What's going on with Israel and Hamas is not our issue. What's going on with Russia and Ukraine, not our issue. What's our issue is what's going on right here at home. And what I see every day when I'm at work or when I'm driving around town, it's homeless people all over the place. I see a crazy inflation. I see people working 3 jobs because they can't provide for their family. They can't feed their kids. That's what I see right here. So that money could be spent
Honestly, I
much
think we
better.
should be holding uh our local police accountable. I don't mean to steer this into like local police, but like um a lot of things start on the local level. There's only so much that we as a community can do on a local level, and police are public servants. What I mean? They're not here to just issue tickets and arrest people. I think if we can get more police involvement in terms of like, getting the police involved with community programs to help the homeless, and to help people that are struggling,
Yeah.
they are public servants. I understand upholding the law, but there should be other aspects of a public servant that's out, you know, dealing with people all
Yeah.
day. Because there's a lot of issues um, with police that end up being some kind of mental health issue
Right.
with that the police can't adequately respond to, or they respond to it almost in a criminal matter.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
the police, there's no reason to respond to anything in almost a criminal matter. The police get good training in mental health right now. Yeah, I've seen it. I help out with it. It's crisis intervention training, and it teaches police how to respond to a serious mental health issue. Such as a suicidal person or something like that from a mental health perspective. And I help out with that at the local law enforcement academy sometimes. And I think their training on that is pretty decent. I think they need more training in constitutional law and constitutional rights. But I mean, outside the whole police perspective, when it comes to the homeless issue, they're not, in my opinion, they're not social workers. But
that's true.
I got a plan here, and my plan involves, not just outside the whole felon thing. You know, I'm going to develop right here locally a local coalition to help out the homeless, right? And this coalition is going to involve me, you know, local politicians, local police officers, local business owners, and local landlords and local behavioral health organizations, right? So we can come together as a group, whether and work together as a group to help this homeless crisis. Our police are there for so that they can learn more about the local homeless population, and they can help us out. We need to coordinate with each other. We're going to invite the behavioral health groups in there because they can provide community resources and help out with that. We're going to involve employers to encourage them to hire these people. These landlords, we're going to encourage them to rent to these people because there is a crisis locally. And at the end of the day, like you said, community. Everybody should care about the community that they live in. Everybody should, and
This is home,
if you
man.
own 20 properties but you won't rent to a felon, who are you to complain about the homeless population? Because you're part of the issue, you know. And so really, man, the goal here is to get people together, and we'll have weekly meetings. Like I said, we're going to create a local homeless coalition task group, man, and it's going to involve the people that can help out with this situation. Like I said, your landlords, your employers, your mental health experts, your police, your politicians, and we all need to be on the same page. And I'm personally going to go to local businesses myself and local landlords if I win state rep and encourage them, to hey, get this guy a job, hey, rent this guy an apartment. We need to be more of a community. We need to be binding together as a community locally. You're, I'm not trying to sit here and talk bad on current leadership, but your current leadership ain't doing that. I'm the only candidate right now addressing this homeless issue, because I care about this district. I care about people in general. Man, this is my community, man. I was born here. I was raised here. My kids live here. They walk these streets here,
Well, and I can tell you, man, like when I grew up in Farmington.
Yeah.
In 2010, I mean, I was young. I was 10 years old, but I can't remember any time around then whenever there were homeless people around Farmington. Like that used to be a St. Louis thing. You'd go up to the city and there'd be homeless people. Now it's in your local community, folks. Homelessness is a major issue.
Right.
And it's something like, like no one's immune from being at risk of homelessness with the amount of people struggling.
We need to quit looking down on them too. I hear a lot of people in the community, and I see it on Facebook. They're homeless people.
Maybe
are
they
begging
shouldn't do
again.
drugs or this or that.
You know what, man? Let's just not judge.
But it's just an economic situation. If you're in a destitute situation, like you don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people lose hope. I mean, what do you do whenever you don't have a place? You don't have one of the basic necessities of your life.
It doesn't just affect them; it affects the whole community. And the community needs to get together and be supportive. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of homeless people when I was a kid in this area, but I do remember when I was a little boy. I was probably 8 years old. I walked down to the park, Wilson Orchard Park, and there was one homeless man down there, and he was being harassed by police at the time because somebody had called and complained about him. And I remember I went back to my house and I told my mom about this guy that was living at the park. And my mom, I grew up poor, in a poor family. My dad was a corrections officer. Mom was stay at home. We didn't really have any money, man. Like a week before payday, I was eating these little peanut butter and jelly packets that my dad would take from the prison. That's what we ate, man. But my mom, bro, she has a heart of gold, and she believes that somebody needs something, give it, and it'll come back to you. So my mom sent me down there. She got all the food we had in the house, so we didn't have nothing. Whatever she had, cans of food, whatever. And she sent me down there with these bags to give to this guy because she said you never know when you might be entertaining an angel. And that stuck with me for the rest of my life. I went down there, I gave that guy that food. He was very appreciative of it. And that's community, man. And we don't have this community, I would love to see this area get some community, support, people helping their neighbors out again, For instance, I was really let down. I was at Menards here in Farmington a couple months ago, and this guy, a few cars ahead of me, I guess he didn't strap his lumber end to the back of his truck very well. Well, it fell all over the middle of the intersection, off the road, and everything. Right. So, I get out of my car, out of my truck, and I start helping pick all this stuff up out of the road and stack it back in his truck. It's holding up traffic on all ends of the intersection over here. This is over on Maple Street. Now, this is a lot of lumber in the middle of the road. Me and this guy are picking it all up ourselves. You have lines of cars with grown men sitting in their cars, honking, yelling at us to hurry up over something like this as an accident. Man, when I was a kid, there's no way that would fly. No way, man. Every man at that intersection would have been getting out of their car to come help out. Because
They would have had that done in an instant.
that's what men do, and that's community support. And if you're a man and you were sitting in your car while these other men clean up the mess in the middle of the intersection and you're not getting out, your old lady would be up your ass about it. And that was like the moment I realized, like, dang, like we went from a community that cares about each other and that supports their neighbor to a big city that doesn't. And I feel like we can progress like we have been, but still keep that small town, neighborly love. And really, man, leadership, actions reflect leadership, man. And I don't think we got proper leadership. So, that's where I'm coming in with this, bro. And hopefully we can get that way. I'm not saying I'm going to come in, I'm going to fix this district in 2 years. That's not going to happen. But I'm going to be open about everything I'm doing, and I'm going to listen to the people, and I'm going to show some compassion with my leadership. I would call my leadership style would be I'm a servant leader. I lead the people, but I serve Christ first. And those Christian values are important in my leadership style.
Well, and honestly, man, like I think that's what St. Francis and Madison County needs right now,
Right.
and wherever the rest of your district's at. That's what we need in general.
Right.
I mean, we need leadership that's gonna show. I mean, that's gonna lead.
Right.
We need a leader that's gonna lead everyone, and that has a vision for the community. And no, you've got my endorsement, man. I mean,
I appreciate it, brother. I mean, we'll get there, man. We'll get there. I like to think positive, man. I think the next couple of years are going to be good for the area, and I really think we'll get this district back on track. I hate seeing the issues we got going on right now. These people that are running for office right now, and your current state representative, they're just he's not really addressing the issues. There's more issues than kicking in doors over grass being too tall or hiring prescription meds. You got people over here right now. I mean, a year or two ago, ran around this area wasn't that bad, and now people are paying $800-900 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. You got families that are paying $1,500 a month for a 3-bedroom house who, mom and dad are both working 3 or 4 jobs to support their kids. They're on SNAP benefits, getting EBT and everything else. People are suffering, man. They're suffering due to government overreach. They're suffering due to, endless spending. They're suffering due to the legislation that these politicians pass. And these people that are pushing the legislation, like our current state representative, who see the benefits from it, aren't feeling the struggle from it. It's the people who live here, it's the people, me, we're feeling the negative effects and the struggle of their legislation while they benefit the rewards from their legislation from their donors.
It's not right.
No, man. And, you got to think, what's right, what's wrong? You don't have to be a genius to be a politician, man. You don't. Most politicians, they're just bought out idiots who care about themselves, But if you can understand right from wrong, you can really do anything, man. I'm not sitting here, I'm not no Harvard grad or nothing coming in, I doubt I'll be president, but, bro, I know right from wrong, and I got a moral code, and I care, and I got ideas, my ideas might not appeal to everybody, and they might not be perfect, but I'm willing to listen, even if you disagree with me, as long as it's on a respectful level.
Well, if you're willing to change your mind on things, if you're presented New evidence. And
I challenge my own views every day. You know, every day I challenge myself in my head. I'm always thinking about what could be better. You know, and I hope the people in this district. I hope they make the right decision. I do. You know, I do feel like I am the best candidate running at this moment. You know, I know it's hard for people to go outside their party, and you know, a lot of people just want to vote straight Republican or straight Democrat. You know, I am running on the Libertarian ticket, but like I said, man, I'm an independent conservative, and I am the most conservative candidate running, and I'm the most honest one, and I have the most integrity. And so when November comes, I hope they select me because I feel like we can all work together as a group. I'm not going to save this district, no, but we're going to give it back to the people, and the people are going to save this district. I'm just going to be their voice.
oh, exactly, man. Well, and I really appreciate you coming on here today.
Yeah, for sure, brother.
Doing this interview. Um, there's so many issues going on. It's really hard to know where to address issues, but I think with good leadership and determination and a will for the people,
Yeah.
I think we can get this
Hey,
done.
amen to that, bro. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, thanks again,
Yeah,
man.
dude, for sure, bro.
We'll do more shows in the future.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sure.
We'll definitely do more together, bro.
And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like the video, comment your thoughts down below. We would love to hear. We'd love to hear your feedback. I'm sure you'd like to know what people are thinking. And when it comes to if you're voting in the primaries, if you want to vote for Ethan, ask for a Libertarian ballot when you get to the primary.
August 6th. If you don't ask for the Libertarian ballot, you can't vote for me. Now, I'm the only person running on the Libertarian ticket, so if you don't vote for me, it's not going to hurt my feelings because I'm going to win anyways. But when November comes, vote for me.
Vote for Jones for Missouri State Rep, District 116. Thank you guys again for watching. Take care, stay safe, and peace.